Welcome back to the Path to Peace Therapy podcast. I'm Stephanie Buckley, an ADHD parenting strategist and family systems coach, mother to a thriving 23-year-old neurodivergent son with ADHD and married for over 3 decades. I have lived inside a family system while also studying them professionally, and I can tell you this with clarity. In my last episode, we sat with a difficult truth. The letter your child would write to you if they could articulate the sheer exhaustion of being in charge. We looked at the reality that when a child is running the household, they aren't empowered, they are overwhelmed. They are operating in a state of neurological red alert, carrying a burden their developing brains were never designed to shoulder. Today, we respond. If my last episode number 118 was about recognizing that heavy burden, today is about the restoration of your home. We are diving into the parent's acceptance speech, your formal declaration of leadership. This is the pivotal moment where you and your partner step back into your roles as the sturdy pilots, reclaiming the helm of the family ship. By taking the helm back, you provide the essential containment that allows your child's nervous system to finally downshift. When a child is in the CEO role, they lack the internal brakes to manage the immense pressure of being the final say. This leads to chronic dysregulation. Those frequent meltdowns aren't just tantrums. They are the cries of a system that is overloaded from trying to maintain the stability of the entire home. When you reclaim the lead, you become the sturdy container that doesn't crack. You are telling your child with love and absolute conviction that their term in the boardroom is over. You are giving them permission to be messy, to be disappointed, and to be small, because they finally have a leader strong enough to hold them through the storm. A house becomes a home when it is filled with harmony and restored to its proper hierarchy. Peace is possible when the adults lead. The parent's acceptance speech. To our child, from Mom and Dad, the Board of Directors. Subject: we accept your resignation. Our dear child, we received your message. We have heard your frustration in the power struggles. We have seen your anxiety in the way you try to control every detail of our day. And we have felt your fear in the way you push every boundary until it snaps. We realize now that we have been asking you to do a job you were never meant to have. We let you be the CEO because we wanted you to have a voice, but we accidentally made you feel responsible for things that are way too heavy for your shoulders. So, effective immediately, we are accepting your resignation. We are taking the keys to the household back. From now on, you are no longer in charge of the schedule. You are no longer in charge of deciding which rules apply or how this family operates. You are no longer the one who has to scan our faces to see if we are going to hold the line. We are taking over the risk management. We are taking back the final say. We are stepping back into our spots at the top of the pyramid, not because we want to control you, but because we love you too much to let you feel this unsafe for one more day. We are going to be your ceiling again. We are going to be the no that doesn't budge, so that you can finally be the child who doesn't have to worry. You are officially relieved of your duties. Go play. We've got the rest. With love, leadership, and total commitment to a path towards peace, Mom and Dad. When you deliver this message, whether through these exact words or through a shift in your daily actions, there is often a fear that by taking our power back, we are demoting our children. But in family systems theory, this isn't a demotion. It is a restoration. When a child is no longer the CEO, they become the explorer, the learner, and the protected. They move from the burden of managing the firm to the freedom of developing the self. Think of the family system as a ship. For a long time, your child was standing at the helm, eyes strained, trying to navigate through a storm they didn't understand. Now, they have been moved to the passenger lounge. They can still see the ocean, but they no longer have to worry about the engine, the fuel, or the waves. The shift. They move from hyper-vigilance, constantly scanning for danger, to felt safety, resting because someone else is on watch. When a child is relieved of executive operations, bedtimes, meal planning, safety rules, their mental energy is suddenly freed up. Instead of using their prefrontal cortex to negotiate with you, they use it to create, play, and solve age-appropriate problems. The CEO child asks, "How can I get mom to let me stay up later?" The restored child asks, "How can I build this Lego tower higher?" The shift. They move from manipulation to mastery. In the CEO role, a child cannot afford to be wrong, because being wrong feels like the whole system might fail. Once you take the power back, you give them the right to fail. They get to experience natural consequences within the safety of your boundaries. The shift? They move from performance having to be right to process, learning through trial and error, the regulated nervous system. The most significant change is physiological. A child's CEO is flooded with cortisol. When you become the sturdy pilot, their nervous system finally gets the signal to downshift. The CEO child. Meltdowns are a tool for control. The restored child. Meltdowns are a release of emotion, knowing mom and dad can handle the storm. The shift, they move from chaos to containment. So, what is their new job title? It is simply being a child. This isn't about being important in a hierarchy of value, but about being in a necessary position for the family system to function properly. By removing them from the boardroom, you are handing them back their childhood. When a child is placed in or steps into the CEO position of a household, they are experiencing a specific, high-stakes form of parentification. In family systems theory, parentification occurs when the functional roles of a family are inverted. The child is promoted to meet the emotional or logistical needs of the parents. While it might look like independence or helpfulness on the surface, it is actually a profound violation of the child's developmental boundaries. When a child becomes the CEO, they are burdened with executive-level responsibilities that their developing brain is not equipped to handle. This creates a state of chronic neurological stress. In a healthy system, the parents are the sturdy pilots. They make the big picture decisions: safety, finances, schedules, and boundaries. When a child is parentified into the CEO role, they are forced to make these decisions. The cost. Every decision feels life or death. If they choose the wrong dinner, the wrong activity, or the wrong time to leave, they feel responsible for the entire family's stability. A CEO child often feels they must manage the parents' emotions to keep the home peaceful. They become hyper-vigilant, scanning your face for signs of stress, anger, or sadness. The human brain develops from the bottom up. The prefrontal cortex, the area responsible for executive function, impulse control, and complex decision-making, isn't fully formed until the mid-20s. When a child is parentified as the CEO, they are neurologically overpromoted. We are asking a manager with an unfinished brain to run a corporation. The home. Cortisol overload. Because they feel unsafe at the top of the pyramid, their nervous system stays in a state of fight or flight. The meltdown paradox. This is why CEO children have frequent, intense meltdowns. It isn't bad behavior. It is a system crash. Their brain is so exhausted from trying to be the adult that it eventually loses the ability to regulate. Did you hear that? Parents need to understand this dynamic causes more meltdowns. So if you want a harmonious home, take your power back. Parentification is a weight that stunts a child's growth. By taking the helm back, you are officially firing them from a job they never applied for. Relieving the weight. When you step back into your role as the leader, you tell the child, "I am the anchor, you are the passenger. You don't have to scan my face for safety anymore, because I am holding the safety for you." From CEO to contributor, we move them from management, deciding the rules, to contribution, following the rules and helping out. This allows them to build real competence and self-esteem without the crushing anxiety of leadership. A house is just a building, but a home is restored to harmony when the hierarchy is right side up. By ending the parentification and reclaiming your authority, you give your child the greatest gift possible, the freedom to be small. When the proper hierarchy is restored, the child's brain is finally free to do the work it was meant to do, grow. They move from a state of survival, trying to control everything, to a state of felt safety. They can have their meltdowns, release the pressure, and then return to the calm of your leadership. This is how harmony is restored when the adults provide the container. The children are finally allowed to be small. When we restore the proper hierarchy, we aren't silencing our children. We are unburdening them. By reclaiming the lead, you aren't taking away their voice. You are taking away a weight their shoulders were never meant to carry. This structural realignment is a clinical necessity for healthy brain development and the formation of a secure attachment. For a child to feel safe enough to explore the world, they must first trust that the sturdy pilot at home has the controls. For a child with ADHD, this hierarchy serves as a vital external executive function. Because the ADHD brain often struggles with internal regulation, organization, and impulse control, the parent's firm boundaries act as the necessary scaffolding. By providing a predictable, parent-led environment, you are essentially loaning them your prefrontal cortex. This structure doesn't just manage their behavior, it builds the foundation for life skill mastery. When children aren't exhausted by managing the big family decisions, they have the cognitive energy to learn how to manage themselves from tying shoes to organizing their schoolwork. True confidence, real self-esteem comes from competence, not power. By restoring them to the role of child, you allow them to experience the dignity of contribution and the satisfaction of mastering age-appropriate tasks. Successful relationships. The me is the training ground for the real world. By learning to respect a loving hierarchy at home, they develop the social emotional intelligence required to navigate authority, peer dynamics, and collaborative environments later in life. When the adults lead, the home stops vibrating with the tension of power struggles and finally becomes a home. It is in this restored harmony that a child, especially a neurodivergent one, can finally stop surviving and start thriving. When the pyramid is right side up, harmony is restored. The frantic energy of the battlefield disappears because the roles are clear. You are no longer competing for the same seat at the table. Your child stops fighting for control they never wanted, and you stop begging for respect you never claimed. If you and your partner are ready to stand at the top of that pyramid, remember, the CEO might try to reapply for the job through a protest tomorrow. That's okay. Stay steady. I'm Stephanie Buckley, AMFT, ADHD, parenting strategist, and family systems coach. You can find the Parents' Acceptance Speech and the full CEO Resignation Kit to help you reclaim your leadership at thepathtopeacetherapy.com or follow me for daily strategies on Instagram at thepathtopeacetherapy.